Today on Tekavou, we build a digital picture frame with a screen that's simultaneously amazing and objectively terrible. We normalize what can only be described as an electronic exorcism, and we somehow end up with a picture frame that gets excited whenever a car dealership runs an ad. How did a simple picture frame project become this complicated? Find out today on Tekavou. Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of Tekavou. Today we're going to reinvent this, the humble picture frame. Now I know what you might be thinking, digital picture frames already exist, and yes, that's true. You can go to your local Costco, Walmart, or even a vending machine and pick one up for very cheap. But today we're going to build one that's completely different. I want a picture frame that feels aware, but not self-aware like Skynet. I want one that knows what's going on around it and can give me the most useful thing at that exact right moment. Basically, I want to add a little bit of magic to a picture frame. If you're one of my 12 subscribers, you know that I have a habit of taking a normal object and giving it superpowers. After all, we taught a Lightbright how to draw its own pictures. We built an Etch-a-Sketch camera that can record anything in one line, so it only makes sense that my next victim was going to be a picture frame. The most important part of a picture frame, or at least a digital picture frame, is the screen, so let's start there. The average digital picture frame has a bright LCD screen. It can display over 16 million colors, it can play videos at 60 frames per second, and it costs maybe around $100. My picture frame will have no backlight, you won't even be able to see it at nighttime. It'll only display about 6 colors, it'll take about 30 seconds to refresh the image, and it will cost significantly more money because apparently I like to make poor financial decisions for YouTube videos. Now on paper, this screen is terrible, but here's the thing, the screen will actually look like that paper. And that's because I'm using a color e-paper display. It's the same kind of technology that you'll find in a Kindle or a Kobo, and it's what I used in my Tekavou project, except this one can display up to 6 colors. Now I haven't looked at it yet, so let's fix that. Let's unbox this thing. I'm not sure if it's coming through on camera or not, but this really looks like a printed photo. I'm also loving the whale on the back. It looks really nice. It's a nice touch. What's really neat about this display is that I can put a Raspberry Pi right in it and instantly give it a brain. Before I can even start to make this device clever, let's see if I can get literally anything on the screen. I installed all the software, configured everything, and now it's time to cross our fingers and hope I can actually send a picture to it. I'm not sure what's going on here. This kind of looks like I'm making a sacrifice to the color gods, but I'm being told by the internet that this is normal behavior for an e-color screen. Good to know for the next sacrifice. If you're wondering how a screen with only 6 colors can reproduce a photograph this well, let's zoom in and find out. Well, the answer is surprisingly simple. At this scale, you can actually see the individual colors doing all the work. And if you think that's crazy, you shouldn't, because your printer is pulling off the exact same trick using only 4 colors. Surprise, humans are pretty easy to fool. Now that I know that the screen works, we should probably make it look like an actual picture frame. I can't just mount this like I would with a normal picture, this is just way too heavy and fragile. So I'm going to create a little mount and place that inside the picture frame. While this is printing, I've been thinking about what I actually want from a picture frame. Most picture frames just randomly show images every few minutes. We have to do better than that. We're going to make this feel a lot more personal. For example, if it's Christmas, maybe we should show some Christmas photos. If it's somebody's birthday, maybe we should pull up some old memories. If today's the anniversary of a trip, maybe it should remind me that it happened. I want the frame to do the thinking so that humans don't have to. I also don't have the attention span of a goldfish, so let's change the picture on the hour instead of every few minutes like you would on a normal digital picture frame. This also acts like a little reminder that the hour has changed as well. I know that YouTubers look like magicians when they show you their prints, but I guarantee you, this was not my first attempt. I went through quite a bit of plastic just trying to get this mount to feel right. And don't worry, all of my failed prints are getting a second life as plant holders. This is great, this looks like a normal picture frame, something you'd buy at the store for like 20 bucks and hang on the wall. Except I'm not stuck looking at the same picture over and over. It also doesn't feel like a cheap Android tablet with a frame around. The first thing I wanted was photos, and we've taken care of that. Not just photos that I manually choose, but seasonal photos and on this day memories, favorites, all these little magic moments that get buried in a camera roll and I never get to see. But here's where I ran into a problem. Every digital picture frame I've ever used comes with its own app, its own account, its own cloud service, its own password reset process. Do you see where I'm going with this? Somehow displaying a picture has become a software problem. And then there's the whole privacy side. Your photos go somewhere, something processes them, something analyzes them, and at this point I'm pretty convinced that my vacation photos are being used to train an AI to, I don't know, identify dads at a barbecue or something. So my solution is simple. Forget about all of that. I don't want to deal with an app, I don't want to deal with cloud services, I also don't want to deal with an SD card. Just the share sheet that's built into my iPhone. See a photo you like? Share it to the Tekavou, and after 30 seconds of weird color distortions, you get to see your picture. And honestly, I think this is my favorite engineering decision in the entire project. Now, I've been talking about photos the entire time, and this is a digital picture frame, but sometimes a photo isn't actually the most useful thing to show. Sometimes I need to know where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to be doing. So when I wake up in the morning, the frame acts as a calendar. I get a quick glance of everything I'm supposed to be doing in the day. I kept this one simple. It's today's date and just a few things that I need to do. Nothing else. Now, around dinner time, I have a completely different problem. What do we eat? I don't know. What do you want to eat? It's one of the hardest decisions in my day, so why not let the Tekavou make the decision for me? It knows all the foods that I like, it knows what I'm doing that day, it knows what I ate the previous day, so it's able to make suggestions for me. It not only makes a suggestion for me, but it's also aware of how much time it'll take to make the recipe. On a busy day, I probably don't want a recipe that starts with, first, make your own chicken stock. It can suggest quick meals, use up leftovers before they become a science experiment, and hopefully remove at least one daily decision from existence. Okay, quick recap here. The Tekavou is able to show the right picture at the right time. It's able to show me my calendar when I wake up. It's able to give me personalized recipes, but that's not even my favorite feature. One of my favorite things about vinyl is the album art. Wouldn't it be cool if the frame automatically showed whatever it was listening to? And I'm not talking about just digital here. To get this to work, I'm going to use something called Shazam.io, which is a little GitHub project that's completely free. It works the way you expect it to work. It basically records 7 seconds of audio, sends it over to the Shazam servers, and then that returns a result. I'm then able to package the whole thing up with album art and send it to the Tekavou. I know I talked about privacy concerns earlier in the video, but because I'm building this, I have complete control over the code. I know that my data is not going anywhere. I know that my digital picture frame will not care that I listen to Lionel Richie in the middle of the night when everyone's sleeping. Now here's the cool part. I don't actually have to do anything. I don't need to open an app or anything for this to work. While I'm awake, the Tekavou is always listening for audio, and if it detects something that sounds like music, it'll start doing matches with Shazam.io. Once it gets a match, it automatically updates the Tekavou. If a few minutes pass and there is no audio, then it'll switch back to picture mode. Here's a cool little side effect. I built this specifically for vinyl music, but in my head I also kinda knew that if my HomePod's playing music, it would also work. What I didn't expect is if I'm watching a TV show or a movie and there's music playing in the background, or if I'm playing a video game or watching a sport, as long as there's 7 seconds of audio, it will automatically capture that and update the Tekavou. Unfortunately, it works with ads as well. Ah yes, my favorite artist. Local car dealership weekend event. Now I know I built this as a picture frame, but this is the feature that made this whole project click for me. There's just something so magical about seeing a device that's updating itself based on its environment. The room changes depending on what's happening. There are no buttons, there are no voice commands, there's nothing. And because this is on e-paper, it doesn't even feel like a screen, it feels like artwork. It's just a simple picture frame quietly doing the right thing. This is how technology should be. It should be invisible. Oh, and one last thing. Remember this picture frame at the beginning of the video? You guessed it, that was the Tekavou all along. Like I said, I wanted this to feel like art and not technology. Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed this and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next Tech Upgrade.